Hey guys, you here for the Life of Lee podcast? Well, roll credits. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Life of Lee podcast. This is episode... last episode was episode 19, which would make this episode 20, but I've got something planned for episode 20 to come out on Monday, next Monday. This is Wednesday, and yeah, so this will be episode 19.5. And the reason for this extra little midweek episode is, number one, there was some changes in the life of Lee, which we'll get to in a minute, and number two, this bad boy. Now, when I decided to start podcasting, I thought, right, I need to get a podcast mic. Every podcaster I watch, every podcaster I listen to has a mic like this. So when I start doing it, I need to get one of my own, basically. Now, I don't need a mic like this to do the podcast. I'm already 20 episodes in and it's been fine. But it's just one of those things, you know. I just felt like I had to have this kind of mic, otherwise I wasn't doing it right. And it's just not a confirmation in any way, but it's a nice little benchmark to hit, like, oh, I've got my mic now. I just feel more like a podcaster, and feel free to mock me, you know, oh, he got a little microphone and he's so happy with himself, but I really am, and I ordered it so long ago that I'm glad it's finally came here. And like, I've already used it for other stuff. I was recording like spoken word vocals for my mate's album, so I used it for that, and I applied for a couple of like voiceover gigs earlier, which will be quite cool. So anyway, Life of Lee, episode 19.5. So Monday, I basically got fired from my job. Now, I'll not say I decided to get fired, but I decided to put myself in a position where it was a definite opportunity. Sorry if that was really loud. I don't know, like, how sensitive this thing's going to be. So, yeah, the job was alright. Alright. Like, there was a lot of ups and downs, and at the end of the day, I was really just doing it to help out my brother, to help them get the company established and that kind of stuff. It's not what I want to be doing. It's not skills that I need to be learning. I was just there to literally help out for as long as until I got the next gig, or I could be bothered doing it. So Monday, some shit happened that I was just like, no, it's a self-respect kind of thing. Like, you can put yourself through so much for so many reasons, but eventually you get to a point where you really have to decide just what the fuck it is you want to be doing. So I could have just walked out. Like, I could have like phoned up the boss and had a word with him, or like the other people that are working there. I mean, it's quite a blend of different people that are there, and there's not a lot of respect flying about either way. So I thought, with this being kind of a young company, and also with my brother being like second in command and me working there, if I get fired, then it will set an example to everybody else, you know, like, oh fuck, if Lee get fired and he's, you know, Scotty's brother, he's right hand, oh fuck, any of us can get fired, we better, you know, like, I was going out anyway, and I could have just left and been like, okay, bye guys, shake hands. Or you can do it in a way where it creates ripples that might have a positive outcome later on down the line. I don't know, but yeah, so I'm free and clear again, and it's time to really focus on my dreams. And what I've realised in the last little while, like, I was working for a supermarket, and I can't work in a place that has, like, you know, policies and procedures. I know everywhere's got that, but like, see, working for a company where they're like, oh, we're a family here and that kind of stuff, and because you're just a number designed to make them other numbers, you know. And yeah, I just don't think it's conducive for me to work in a place where I need to wear a uniform, or I need to wear a name tag, or I need to, call different people different things. Like, oh, you call him sir, and, oh, you need blah, blah, blah. And see, just any job where I need to modulate my voice. Hi, how are you? Are you good today? Any of that kind of shit. Anything where I don't need to be me. And it's so, I see the irony of me wanting to be an actor but refusing to play a role anywhere else. But that's, like, I've had 40 jobs, I've played a lot of roles, and a lot of the time when I leave a job, it's because I'll go into a place, it'll be new, there'll be new procedures, new things to learn, new ways of doing stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then when I get a grasp of everything that the job entails, I'm like, so this is it. And now I just need to stay here doing the same thing every day, day after day after day. I can't do that, man. I just can't. It freaks me the fuck out, and each to their own. Some people, stuff like this works out for them. They love their job. But I can't. Like, there was cashiers in that supermarket I worked in that have been doing the same job for like over 30 years. Just sitting day after day, beep, 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 49.62 please, beep, 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 26.95 please, beep, 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 oh, how are you, going any holidays, 47.96 please, beep, beep, all fucking day, day after day, after day, after day, with managers floating around trying to fucking project their ego, and customers just not seeing you as a human but seeing you as just a uniform. It's not good. And also, like, when the company made 399 million profit last year, and then you look at your wages, you're like, and I get it, it's capitalism, it's business, I get it, but I just can't work somewhere where you're just not you, You're towing a company line, you're becoming a company employee, a projection of that company's values and all that kind of shit. Can't do it. So then I thought, like, maybe working directly for someone like this would be better. But then it's the same shit again. Like, I'm getting dropped off and digging out fucking tons and tons of rubble and clay and mud and all this kind of shit, and I'm getting paid this. But I know for the job that I'm doing, the guy that dropped me off in the morning is getting paid this, and all he's doing is dropping me off, giving me a shovel and a pick, and picking me up, and he gives me that, and off that he's earning that. That it's like, I don't think I can do a job where someone's earning so much money off the sweat of my brow. And yeah, so it is time to literally just start chasing my dreams, not working towards, I know, it's just, I'm tired of trying to squeeze myself into shapes, Like, if I'm going to do that, then that's why I want to be an actor. If you want me to play a role, if you want me to wear a certain costume and act a certain way, and then I'll do that in the most extreme way possible. You know what I mean? Because I enjoy it much more, and I get paid a hell of a lot more. And it's the exact same thing. The amount of people I speak to, and they say they want to be an actor, but they could never do it because they're insecure or unconfident or whatever the fuck, but they work on a checkout, and all day they're like, oh, how are you, blah blah blah, yeah, that's acting, because you've been told to speak to the customers. Maybe you don't want to speak to every single customer, maybe you're in a bit of a bad mood or whatever, but it's the rules of the place that you need to do that. So you need to put on a performance, you need to be out there, you need to be engaging, you need to be connecting with your fucking audience, and it's the same fucking thing in most jobs, but acting's just the most direct and all-encompassing form of it. And if you've got a dream, right, if you've got something you're pointing towards that isn't sustaining you at the moment, then, and you need to get a job to help sustain you while you do the dream. So if you're going to be spending 40 hours a week working at something to get money to do the thing you want to do, then try and make that job that you're doing as closely related to the thing that you want to do as possible. If you want to make movies, try working in a cinema. Kevin Smith worked in a video rental shop before he went and made Clerks, which made him what he is. If you want to be a fucking race car driver, become a mechanic. Work on cars all day. Like, try and align it so all your time is spent getting just slightly closer towards what you're wanting to do. You know what I mean? If I'm wanting to be an actor, then being a landscaper doesn't really offer up a lot of parallel opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do, not full turn, but just something to sustain me, and especially through the summer months, I'm going to be a street performer. Now, hear me out, this is actually a well thought through plan. I had this idea a few years back, and I actually ended up leapfrogging the initial idea and taking it like bigger before I'd even started. So I'd seen a couple of people hiring themselves out as Spider-Man for birthday parties and that kind of shit, and they were just dudes that had a Spider-Man costume, and they were walking in and going, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man," But I could do that as well, and I can do flips and shit, and then I am Spider-Man. That was just random fucking high thought came to me one day, but this thought wouldn't leave me. So I thought, fuck it. Bought a Spider-Man costume. Now it's one from the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield, and I've just ordered a new one. Funnily enough, with the last payment that I got from the last job, he was just paying me for that one day. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to use that money to invest into myself for my next venture or adventure. Yeah. And so I got the suit, I was waiting in the suit coming in, and I started randomly talking to a woman in a park. I was out training, or she randomly started talking to me, and she had a couple of little kids, and I says to her my idea, like, I'm thinking about hiring myself out for birthday parties and that kind of shit. And she was so into it, she was so excited, like her kids love Spider-Man, the thought of having a real Spider-Man, diving into the garden and doing flips and, hey, how are you? High fives, cutting the cake, fuck off, money please, done. You know what I mean? I can do that. So this woman ended up, she knew, I think it was her sister-in-law or some shit, worked in Asda. So the first gig that I ended up doing was in Asda, and I get paid for it and blah blah blah. And I'm watching the meters here. Like, I noticed when I was getting really close, sometimes it's not happening now. I don't know how close or far away to keep this, So from the first gig in Asda, I then got booked for a gala day, which, if you're not from Scotland, a gala day is, I don't really know what a gala day is. It's just like a big party where the whole town comes out. I don't know, Google it if you're interested. So I've done Gala Day, which was a great success. Like, people fucking loved it. People were so into it. And then done a couple of birthdays and that kind of stuff. But then I moved and it just didn't happen again. I'd done the Edinburgh Fringe Festival as well. But it was always in the back of my mind to just try and do it as a street performer. Like, literally just go out, mark off a bit of ground with a bit of rope or something, and then just do flips as people are walking by, interact with them, have a bucket out, see how much I can make. And really, now, all I need to do is earn more in a day doing that than I was earning in a day being a landscaper. And to be honest with you, I don't even want to tell you the fucking amount, but what I was earning for per shift as a landscaper was a fucking pittance for the work I was doing. And there's differences, and that's what I'm realizing, and that's, things can be different if you want them to be different, and I know that they've been different before, and I want them to be different again. And it's like, there's just different vibes, right? I don't think any of this stuff I've done makes me better than anyone else. It's not about that at all. but some of the experiences I've had, when you weigh them up to some of the other experiences I've had, there's big fucking differences, you know? Working in Game of Thrones when we were doing the night shoots, it was in the middle of the winter, like -4, torrential fucking rain. We're standing out in the woods filming like the Night King's death scene, and we're out there for like 12, 13 hours completely soaked. We should be miserable, but we're not, because there's a certain vibe when you know that you're on the set of the biggest fucking TV show getting made. There's fucking Tyrion Lannister walking by, and Jaime Lannister standing next to you, like, not for the Night King, that was more when I was Golden Company, but you know, there's a vibe when it's like the biggest stars in the world. Oh shit, there's the biggest director in the world, you know, there's some of the best makeup artists in the world in that department, some of the best wardrobe department in the world. It's just the best of the best, the pinnacle of what you're doing at that moment, filmmaking. And the vibe that you get, you know, you're floating. You come out of it feeling inspired. You come out of it feeling creative, you know, like just fired the fuck up. Compared to Monday, where I was standing in a driveway in Chapel Hall with a new dude Duncan who was in a bad shape. Like he had no bag, no lunch. He was wearing just like a hoodie and a t-shirt, and it was freezing and raining and shit. And yeah, we were just standing there, and there'd been some shit happening that I just wasn't agreeing with. I'm standing there like, this is pointless, absolutely pointless, and decided to leave because it's that different vibe, you know? Like, I was standing there fucking miserable for a couple of reasons that I'm not even going to get into, but I've got the power to change that, you know? I could either, just get my head down and get on with it. It's a good job to keep me going just now, and I was also worried, like, it was an alright little job, and I was kind of worried that all the creases that I was experiencing might actually iron themselves out, and it might get to the point where it's 3 years down the line, and someone goes to me, "Oh, Leah, you still acting and doing all that kind of stuff?" And I'm like, "Oh no, this job ended up being alright, you know, so I just fucking, you know, I just started working away and just getting my head down and getting on with it." "You still doing that parkour?" "Nah, well, this job, you know, I do a lot of digging and a lot of manual labour. It's kind of fucked my back a wee bit, so I can't really, like, train and that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's an alright job. I'm just keeping my head down and getting on with it." Like, no, there's far, far too many people who either don't have dreams, like, genuinely don't have anything big picture that they're aiming towards. They don't have, you know, any goals or any of that kind of shit, and they genuinely feel that it's not for them to have lofty aspirations or to, you know, try and picture themselves exceeding where they already are. And a lot of time it's cultural, or it's family, or it's even friends that, you know, people don't really want you to succeed. They want you to succeed in a way that you're still relevant to them, if you know what I mean. And the minute you start saying that you want to do bigger and better stuff, and they think to themselves, "Oh, but I don't want to do bigger and better stuff. I'm scared of doing bigger and better stuff. I'm just happy with my, you know, my little job, and, you know, I stay 2 streets away from my mum, so she's right there, and, you know, I don't want to shake things up and cause disruption." And it's a lot of the time people just get far too comfortable, and that's the other thing. They might have had dreams, they might have had stuff they were pointing towards, they might have been fired up about this, that, or the next fucking thing, and then they think, right, I'll just get a little job to keep me going, and they get that, and then they think, oh well, I need to get a car, you know, and then they've got car payments, and then they meet a girl from fucking the legal department or whatever, and then they start hitting it off and end up having a kid, and before they know it, like, literally in the blink of an eye, it's 20 years later, they've got 2 kids running around, balls deep in a mortgage that they ain't getting out of for the next 30 years. Kids are going to be running around for the next 18 years. And any dreams or aspirations they had, there's just no room for them anymore. Like, a lot of people might look at me right now, 33 years old, back living with his mum. I don't drive. Like, I've got my bike license, I don't have a bike. Very little money in the bank. But the freedom that gives me to then go out and just leapfrog all the other fucking, like, I heard a quote the other day that just, it was in this, I always watch like motivational speech compilations when I'm working out and stuff, and the guy was talking about, in terms of success and that kind of shit, if you look at gazelles in the wild, right, a gazelle, in order to survive, it doesn't need to be quicker than the fastest lion. It just needs to be quicker than the slowest gazelle. You know what I mean? And it's the same in success and business and, you know, acting and all that kind of shit. You don't need to be the best of the best. You just need to be better than the next guy in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes it doesn't take that much, you know, to be that little bit extra and to push yourself much further than anyone else, because they're not willing to give it that little bit extra because they're too comfortable, they're too wrapped up in what they're doing, they're too, you know, distracted with family or fucking their job or that kind of shit. But I honestly feel staying true to your original dream is what you're meant to be doing. Yeah, you can change your mind, you can refine it or whatever, but, you know, like I said this before, I wanted to be a stuntman growing up, and I kind of am, and like that was a good thing to pursue for me, and it's taken me some fucking awesome places. I've seen some great shit and all that. But yeah, it's people substitute their dreams for comfort. And I'm willing to be uncomfortable for a while to make my dreams a success, because that will be a bigger payoff in the end. And in terms of like the Spider-Man thing, it just makes more sense for me if I'm working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, doing flips and shit and refining those skills, and not just improving the free running, but also improving the improvisation that it would require to constantly be dealing with, you know, the public as they're going by, but you're not dealing with the public as, you know, an employee of this company with your name tag and your polo shirt and that kind of shit. You're literally playing an identifiable character that everybody knows. Everybody loves Spider-Man, you know what I mean? And yeah, it just makes more sense for me to be, if I do need to go out and earn money to survive, then it makes more kind of sense doing it in a way that encapsulates the talents that I have and the talents that I'm pursuing, you know? And that's what I say to anybody out there that does have any kind of fucking, any dream, any little thing that they want to achieve. Like Kevin Smith, go and watch the first time Kevin Smith was on the Joe Rogan Experience. He talks about chasing whimsies. He says that's all his life is about now, is just chasing down whimsies. If he has a random idea, oh, I think I want to write a book, he'll go and write that book. If he's like, oh, I want to make a movie, he'll make that movie. Sometimes the bar's low, like, I want to make cookies, you know? Go and make cookies. Anything that pops up, just go and do it. Like, there was a quote from Nikola Tesla. Can't remember it whatsoever, but the gist of it is that he said his ideas didn't come from him. He said, pardon me, somewhere in the universe there's a core of knowledge and inspiration, and he's just the vessel for the information that this core is sending out. So if you get a random idea, you know, I want to run a marathon, just go and train for a marathon. It will take you a couple of months, you can get it done, you'll get a little medal, you'll have the story to do it. If you, like for me, trying podcasting, I love watching podcasts. I had some interesting stories that I thought might, you know, the general public might enjoy, so boom, here we are, 19.5 episodes in podcast. But also in terms of acting as well, I love movies. I just wanted to see if I could do it. I just wanted to see if I could stand in front of a camera, deliver lines and get through it without like freaking out and being like, I can't do this, I'm too nervous, or fucking, why are these people looking at me? And like the next thing that I'm going to do is try stand-up comedy, because I fucking love stand-up comedy, and they all talk about like how difficult it is to do that, to get up on stage and to crush, you know, to have people laughing, to have them in the palm of your hand and take them up and down and hit the punchline right and all that kind of shit. And I just want to see if I can do it. And if I can't do it, then it means that I'm going to have a funny story, so that one day if I'm ever sitting with someone and they say something about a comedian, I can be like, you know, I tried my hand at stand-up comedy one night. Oh, how'd it go? Fucking bombed, mate. I got booed off stage. It was fucking hilarious. I had, you know, and because it's better than doing nothing at the end of the day. And I don't know where it will take me, like with the acting thing. Yeah, I'd been the extra in World War Z and then get cast in a film where, well, sorry, when I was auditioning for the film, the role I was going through, the character had 3 lines, and I thought, right, should be able to handle that. We'll knock it out of the park. And that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to go in front of camera, say those 3 lines, have that interaction, see how it looks, see if I was convincing, all that kind of stuff, and just see if I could do it. But then in the audition, I ended up getting the lead role of the whole production, and you know, I'd done it. And then from that initial audition, that initial gig, I had another audition that led me to this and this and this and this, and then get flown to Chicago and worked on Avengers and Game of Thrones and Outlander and all this kind of shit, all just from not like it all just came from going for it, you know, not listening to that voice that tries to talk you out of stuff, you know, and definitely not listening to people that try to talk you out of stuff. Like, I've been laughed at for everything that I said I was going to do. Everything. I'm going to be a freerunner. Surely. But then, like, get sponsored by Puma and I'm teaching and that kind of shit, and I'm getting booked for adverts and that kind of stuff. You know, I kind of validated that shit. Got laughed at when I said I was going to be an actor. You know, kind of validated that as well. Probably get laughed at when I say I'm going to do comedy, and then the laughter will probably stop when I actually start doing comedy. Who knows? But I'm confident about the comedy because there's been a couple of times in my life, a lot of times in my life where I've been around people and I've went to say something which I've thought is hilarious, but because the people haven't known that I was joking, then it's just not went over. And a couple of times I've said this great line and it just fell flat, and I thought to myself, you know, see if I was on stage and like people were here to laugh, they knew it was a comedy show, they knew like, oh, this is just his shtick, then I think that would have him rolling in the aisles. But because these people don't know what fucking angle I'm coming from, it's right over the heads. But yeah, it's just back to fucking having control over your own life, you know. And too many people give up that control for various reasons, and then when they get to a place where they can't do what they want to do, they start blaming all this other stuff. But if they were really honest with themselves and like looked back at all the decisions they made, then the blame's on them every single time, every step of the way. You make the decisions. You can literally do whatever you want. Yeah, there might be repercussions. Yeah, people might say this about you, might say that about you, but as long as you're staying true to yourself and still going out to pursue what the fuck it is you think you're meant to be doing, instead of trying to pander to someone else's image or someone else's, you know, thoughts on how the world should be. Let's get this straight. No one knows what the fuck we're doing here. No one knows how it's meant to be done. So be as individual as you can. You know, take advice from people, look at how other people are doing it, and you know, try and figure out what works best for you. But don't blindly have other people tell you how you should live your life, you know? And don't blindly commit yourself to other things when there's stuff you should be doing for yourself. You know, like I said this in the last episode, when people don't do what they want to do because the people around them don't do it, it's one of the saddest things that I can think of, because if you go and do the thing that you want to do, other people will be there, and if you want to take up fucking salsa dancing, and you say to your friends, oh, do you want to do salsa dancing? And everyone's like, no, I don't fucking want to do salsa dancing. You're like, oh, looks like I'm not doing salsa dancing then. Go and fucking do salsa dancing. There'll be people there already doing salsa dancing. You'll walk in. Hi, I'm here to do salsa dancing. Hi, we're doing salsa dancing. Come on in. You can talk to them. There'll be people there. You'll meet more people that are already doing the thing that you want to do. You know, it's that fucking simple. You just need to open yourself up and go for it. I was watching Duncan Trussell in the Joe Rogan Experience there, and he said a great quote from, I want to say it was Alan Watts, but I think I'm wrong. I can't think of the other name right now, but it was basically, pull your legs up and let the stream take you. You know, it's just another way of saying go with the flow. And if you have an idea, then follow it, because it's not it's you that's meant to have that idea. You know, or otherwise it would have went to someone else. So pursue it, follow every single fucking idea you've got. Anyways, we've just hit the 30-minute mark on the Life of Lee, episode 19.5. So I'll wrap it up there. Hopefully episode 20 will work out the way that I want it to. But you guys don't know that what I'm planning, so you won't know if I hit the mark or not. But yeah, good little episode. We'll see what happens from here on in. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.